call it. Please, silence in the audience. And our proud duty holder is our grammarian.
Pardon that interruption. It turns out that that is something relatively new. I didn't used to say that you were making a recording. I am going to be the grammarian, which means that I listen particularly good and particularly bad uses of the English language to make a report. I will be quiet during the declared speaker so as to not interrupt our speaker and rather than too much. The word of the day also is my job. I don't have anything in writing, so you'll have to make a note of it and write it down. The word of the day is going to be glean. G-L-E-A-N. Glean. And it means to gather material bit by bit. Okay, so it would be something that you would perhaps come to a meeting and maybe you glean a few ideas of how to do better speak. Good example of that. You're encouraged to use the word of the day, of course, for all of the meeting, but especially during table topics where it's required in order to qualify for all the purposes. Mr. Toastmaster.
That one, the outrageous vocabulary. If you will look at the sheet of paper that had the random words on it, I'll briefly go over the definitions. The first one is the strange word fecund, F-E-C-U-N-D. That's actually an adjective of fertile, fruitful, prolific. For example, someone on passenger staff, they have a lot of great insightful ideas in the fecund. I would recommend not using that word in conversation. Someone may confuse it with people. I think you were saying something that you shouldn't. But again, now there really was a word that I picked out of his memoirs, which totally stuck. So keep that in mind and be very judicious. Another word that was very much in Kissinger's memoirs is the second one, interlocutory. We use that numerous times, maybe 50 times in volume series. Interlocutory. That is a noun. That's a person that takes place in or takes part in the dialogue or the conversation. So, but it almost sounds, we usually used it in a professional sense, where a lot of times he would talk about his interactions, his discussions, let's say with the Russian ambassador, and that person was his interlocutor. So it's not necessarily a friendly counterparty, it's not like chatting with someone about the weather. It sounds pretty much like someone you're having a really, really serious conversation with that maybe is challenging. Next word is lacuna. It looks like the plural is there's and that's a fancy word for an unfilled space or interval, gap. And maybe you married men, if you come home way too late and you don't have a good excuse, and you're being demanded to recount what you did that evening, and there was a lacuna in your edition of events from when you left work to when you got home, you might be as a serious trouble. And then right now, the next strange word is parapets. P-A-R-A-P-T-S, parapets. And that's a low protected wall along the edge of a roof, bridge, or balcony. So again, I don't know why you saw fit to use a word like that rather than say a low protected wall. Because when you're that brilliant, you can make your own rules. Just what, before we go further on this list, we will start off with our speech. The speaker is standing, and his evaluator is going to be Dylan Griggs. Dylan, please describe Diggins' speech.
It's all rough. That's all I have. 5 to 7 minutes, and then
What's the name of the speech?
you start YouTube? Why you start the YouTube channel?
Oh, why you started YouTube?
Why start the YouTube?
Oh, please come to Malcolm, Megan Moore, why he started a YouTube channel, why he started a YouTube channel, Megan Miller.
Okay, I think it started out about this off the cuff. I guess kind of came the idea. Actually, I'm really working on. You know, that's good for speech, but in my work and my YouTube channel, I just don't really have time to actually practice speech. So it's like, so I'm going to talk about why you should start a YouTube channel, or why think about starting a YouTube channel. Because I started a YouTube channel back right after COVID started. I started my own YouTube channel. I'm having really fun at it. So I was thinking about, who out here, go to YouTube, watch YouTube for information. That's pretty much most of everybody here. So that's kind of what I do. I grew up here. My beard was like shorter, but I started getting YouTube beard products and things like that. So I wanted to know a little bit more about it, and that's what brought me to YouTube. And found other beard guys, the beard product feeds and things like that on YouTube. So I started making purchases based on their reviews and things like that. Found some really nice quality beard products. So basically, that's kind of how I got my journey into the YouTube channel. But why should you start a YouTube channel? Has anybody ever thought about starting a YouTube channel? Okay, that one. That's good. Two. So at first, I started this YouTube channel to be fun. So actually, you want to start to be fun. Or you can start to make money. But on the money part, once you get 1,000 subscribers, you become monetized. But you will get like a really small amount every time an ad pops up on your video. Somebody wants to get a really small part. And YouTube actually takes 30% of that. So you don't really make that much money. So the only way you can really make money on YouTube is if you have millions and millions of subscribers. So you got to think about the niche that you want to start. So my niche is obviously beard related. I do beard product review, tips and tricks. I do live streaming where I talk about this stuff and things like that. But that niche is kind of small. And one of the biggest YouTubers out there in the beard community is actually one is like 42,000 subscribers, and another one's almost 100,000 subscribers. So they're not that big. So they're making money off of YouTube, but not enough money to put their jobs. So they got it fun, but they do have plans to try to grow to that point so they can try to put their jobs. So already starting a YouTube channel really got to be fun. Another thing is do it for what you like. For maybe stamp collecting or woodworking, just do what you like. And when you get started, the next question is, when do I start? We start right away. You don't need to go and practice on videos. That's how you just get into it and get on. Because if you just sit there and implement all of that, you better get started. And so, what do you use to start your equipment? Well, everybody has a phone. Like Mark is using the phone here to film me up here on stage, and a tripod. That's all you need. A phone and a tripod with recording stuff. Just get started. Just have some fun with it. I actually use my laptop and the camera on my laptop to start mine. And the laptop cameras are not as good as the phone camera. So the quality wasn't really that great, but as I progressed, I actually got a camera and a tripod, and actually my video quality up there, and I got me a mic. So as I went on, I made improvements. But just get out there and get started. So yeah, the next thing is like the equipment. So when you get to the process of actually getting out there, you start getting subscribers. Don't worry about the subscribers. That will drive you crazy, especially if you're just doing it for fun. If you're doing it for fun, don't worry about any subscribers. Don't worry about how many subscribers. Because if you're doing it for fun, you just want to get your passion out there on YouTube for other people to see. There's millions and millions of people out there with that same passion. you're searching for YouTube for that niche that you're doing, people are gonna find it. If they like it, they'll subscribe. If not, it's okay. There's many people out there. I started this, like my little story about my channel. I started in July last year. A few days, and I've been out there a few days, got my first few subscribers, kind of started getting known, got more and more. I got more deeply involved in the peer community, and now I had my 500 subscriber celebration stream a couple weeks ago, and now I'm at 527 subscribers. So that's actually pretty good for my niche. So I kind of slow going, but most of the people in the peer community started like YouTube. You could take 2 to 3 years to get that 1,000. And everybody's goal is to get that 1,000 mark. Even though we're doing photos, we still want to get that 1,000 mark. But because actually, when you get to that 1,000 mark, YouTube will actually start promoting your videos more for you. So they want to see you getting that hard work. You got to do your due diligence first. But like I said, that's if you're trying to grow your channel and try to eventually make some money with it. But niches like that, like tech niches, things like that, those are getting start getting big subscribers. So overall, I just get, like I said, I just learn, I really enjoy what I do, and just as long as you start the channel, just if you think about starting, just like I said, just start it, get going with it, just have fun with it. Back to you, Toastmasters.
Thank you, David. This time I would like to ask our timer to give us a timer's report on David's speech. Yeah, would you please just report on David's speech?
He managed have employment, 6 minutes and 7 seconds.
Thank you. Obviously, David is finally our best speaker tonight, and we'll leave for a vote on the speaker. Before we head on into the table topics, just a few more thoughts on the outrageous vocabulary. A few more examples on the sheet that I handed out. The next word, UKAST, which I never heard of, UKC. That's a noun. That's basically an edict of the Russian government. So obviously you can imagine how that would come from. It would be really tough for us to use it in a conversation. Imagine if you were having a difficult conversation, you really have to lay down the law to someone. But instead of saying, hey, I'm giving you an edict, I'm giving you a command. You can say, I'm giving you a case. And when it looks time, you can say, any questions? No questions, okay. No, not really, but that was an unusual word I came across. The next is extirpation. Now, if that actually is a synonym for extinction or removal. So maybe if you were clearing out all the weeds in a certain section in your yard, instead of cleaning them out and removing them, you're extirpating them. And the final, and this is, I believe, Latin, so I had to struggle with the pronunciation. Deus ex machina. And that, and Kissinger complained several times that he was expected to come up with a solution to some problem that would obviously be very difficult to resolve, but his job is to come up or to solve a seemingly unsolvable problem with an unexpected resolution. Basically, just to grab a solution out of the sky to solve almost inconceivable. And good luck using that in a sentence. So in conclusion, most of these words we probably shouldn't try and use. If you're as brilliant as he is, you can more easily work them into a conversation or into what's written in the lesson. And it's almost natural. For the rest of us, if we were really, really straining to use those words, it would be obvious. So just stick with the vocabulary that works for you, but it's best to know there's some really outrageous vocabulary words out there. This time, we will get on to table topics. That will be led by John Hess.
All right. Thanks, sir. We are now in the table topics portion of the meeting. Table topics is going to be questions and answers. Table topics is designed to help you speak off the cuff and learn the answer to questions that the boss does at you or somebody else. Helps you in conversation starting when somebody asks you a question. If you learn to think off the cuff and be able to answer a question, then you can be a good conversationalist and you can maybe get that boss's attention or get that person's attention, whatever your goal is. Now, there are a couple of rules about table topics. So we're all 1 to 2 minutes. You must meet 1 minute. And you must not exceed 2.5 minutes. Also, you must use the word of the day, which today is glean, which means to gather information from.
Bit by bit.
Bit by bit. Okay. So, we're talking about vocabulary tonight. Well, slang is vocabulary. So I want to talk a little bit about some slang and ask a few questions and see what people can tell me about slang. So let's start with every generation has had slang words that they used to describe something that's really amazing, something they're impressed with. Kim, what was your favorite slang word growing up for something that's really amazing or outstanding?
Toastmasters. Favorite slang word? I think of different generations. For example, back in the 50s, 60s, far out. Cool. Probably the one I use the most is probably awesome. I don't know if that's really qualified as a slang word, but generates the thought that it's pretty good. I don't really remember too much that we can glean from past usage of words, but I know that if you look into movies, if you look into literature, it talks a lot, it will give you a lot of information about the human culture during that time period. So to answer the question, I guess for me, the word that I like the most is awesome. I hope that answers your question, Mr. Table Toastmaster.
One of the things when I was growing up in high school was my friends would come up and ask me to check out their load. Or they got a new load. Lee, what are they wanting to show me?
One problem with slang is that at times it's hard to glean what the person is really wanting. As John asked the question, they wanted to show their love. What were they wanting to show? That's a really, no pun intended, loaded question. Because after all, it could be stuff in the backpack. It could be some of their dirty laundry. It could be something that nobody would ever want to see, and they just call it their love. So rather than coming out here and directly answering the question, perhaps a better way to answer this question is to leave you with an imagination as colorful as you would like it to be, as imaginative as you would like it to be. And this way, it could be a clean load, it could be a dirty load, it could be a very loaded load. Nevertheless, ladies and gentlemen, fellow Toastmasters and guests, it's a load nonetheless. Back to you, Mr. Booth.
And for the record, a load is a car. So when you got a new car, that was your load. Check out my load. That one didn't last a long time, but a lot of slang words do last for generations. But it may change meanings, but they're still out there. For example, Rob. What is hip and how has it changed in the decades?
Thank you very much, Mr. Toastmaster. Fellow members, guests, I was never hip. And I'm not talking about these here, as you can see, I'm definitely not hip. But throughout my time as a very, very young man, which really was actually a little bit after the time when hip was hip, I really didn't think that was a very cool word. Again, generational for sure, but the words that I felt during my time as a teenager that I felt were hip weren't necessarily those that others thought were hip. Totally awesome, gnarly, bogus. Those were popular phrases during my hip days in the 80s. You may glean from that that I didn't really use very many slang terms, and you probably be right. It wasn't necessarily because I didn't know them. I just didn't like them very much. It kind of bugged me. I let everybody else say them, and it sounded cool when they said it, but when I said it, it sounded a little awkward, it sounded like it was off, and that could be that I didn't know exactly what was hip and when it was hip to say it. But overall, these words do change over time. I don't know any other meanings other than something that's cool and actual physical bones in your body, but perhaps our topic master can enlighten us, give us something to glean a little bit more. And back to you, Mr. Topic.
Well, since you gave me that segue, back in the early 20s, hip was just a person that was really into jazz. So hip has always been sticking with the person. So the jazz age, you were hip if you liked jazz. Back up into the 40s and 50s, if you were hip, you were a beatnik. You again were into the offbeat kind of things in life, and you were just hip. The 60s and the 70s, hippies. Of course, the counterculture of the hippies and the rock music and everything, we're hip again. Now, hipster is a cool term for these very kind of on the edgy kind of people that are out there, you know, he's a hipster. So hip is carried along for like 100 years worth of usage. Now, I personally still use the word cool every time I turn around. I'm at work and I'm talking to somebody and I resolve their issue and they tell me something good and I said, cool, that's great. See you later. So I'm addicted to cool. I always like cool. It just always is stuck to me. It's the first thing that comes out of my mouth half the time. Megan, yeah. If I call you a goat, did I just insult you or what am I saying?
for me. But when it comes to words, like kids, I think like that. I start to think about other words like country songs, like to, I or over yonder. It's like when I used to, actually, my grandparents had a ranch or a little farm, and they had cattle on it. And, I mean, they didn't grow anything like that, but they had a little place out in Athens, close to Athens, Texas. And, I went out there quite a bit, probably at least once a month on weekends when I was a kid. Just go out there and have fun, help around the ranch, farm, whatever you want to call it. And, country folk out there, so, that's another word, country folk. So, yeah, I started picking up the kind of the accent, when I was down there, kind of, talk like them. So that was actually what bring me back memories when he brought the subject up. But I don't know how did it work leading here, but when it comes to goat, I truly never really heard that terminology before, but I'd also think, I think what goes with the big old horns, it might be called bullish, maybe. I don't know. I can touch that. We'll talk about it.
Well, so goat means greatest of all times. So there's that. A lot of our slang derived from the fact that we wanted to be different from our parents. Most slang comes out when you're a teenager and you start using these words and terminology, so it's not something that they understand. You're special, you're unique, and we've got our own language. And I'm gonna hit you up, Dylan. You're probably like youngest group in our club right now. What's some slang nowadays that you use? Thanks, Sarah.
I actually did the previous one, go to Chris all the time. Some slang that I probably use, I say chilling a lot. So for those of you who don't know, chilling, you're relaxing, you're go sit up on your couch, just chilling. I tend to say that a lot. I say night sometimes instead of all right. It just slips out. And there's just a lot of words. I know it's different from every generation. But yeah, I would say chilling's a big one. I also, like I said, go earlier. There's a lot of people who call Michael Jordan and all different types of movie stars the GOATs every small time. There's tons of different names that I could talk about right now. Chilling. There's, let's see, spot. That's all I have.
Thank you, bro. Anyway. So, I think we're gonna wind up now, and I'd like to get a timer's report. Kim, did everybody qualify on time?
Everybody qualified on time. Dylan, you just squeaked by. Never look at me.
All right, I have to check. Dylan, did you use the word of the day? Dylan did not. So everyone used the word of the day. Dylan did not.
Okay.
I think Rob used it twice. He managed to get it in twice.
Yeah, you don't get to. Yes, thank you. Oh, are you cheating now? No. Okay.
Keep going. I was just going to look.
Okay, fine. So now if you would take a moment and grab your ballots and vote for who you thought did the best job with pickle toppings tonight. And it's between Lee, Megan, Rob, and Kim. And do you have anything else for Toastmasters?
No.
Okay. Then I'd like to call out our GE for the evening. Our GE is.
Thank you very much, Mr. Toastmaster. This is the evaluation portion of our meeting. This is where we get some great feedback, some good evaluations, and we will get to grow in that respect. Some of us will have an opportunity to grow very specifically according to the evaluation that's given for prepared speech. We'll also get feedback from all of our duty holders, and we will finally get a report from myself regarding the entirety of the meeting. As I said, feedback, very important in Toastmasters, really very important in life, although I don't think it's focused on enough in the right way. And perhaps that's because the feedback isn't necessarily done in the right way in the real world, as it is here at Toastmasters, where people can learn and grow, and they don't feel cut down. They don't feel like they are shot down before they even get started at all. So Toastmasters is a great place for this. The first thing that we want to do in the evaluation portion of the meeting is to have our evaluator from our prepared speech come up and give the evaluation for our prepared speech. Our prepared speaker tonight was Dave Newland, and he's coming back in now, so we can continue with this in just a moment here. His evaluator this evening, first time evaluating, and he's going up with a impromptu speech and has no evaluation form, so he's got a task in front of him. But I'm confident from his past experience over the past month that he can do a great job. Please help me to welcome Mr. Dylan Graves.
All right, thank you, Dave, for being here tonight. I'm going to use the 3-2-1 method, as many of us are familiar with. So I'll say 3 things that I enjoyed about the speech, 2 things that I believe could be worked on, and 1 other thing that I thought went very well. So to start off, I thought it was very good for an off-the-cuff speech. It was interesting. I think everyone in the audience was focused the whole time, and I know YouTube is different for everyone, but I thought it was very interesting. I've always been big into YouTube, especially throughout college. I used it all the time to learn things that my professors did not teach me very well. And even throughout work, I use it all day. I try to learn something new, but there's tons of different ways to use YouTube. So I thought that was also interesting. I noticed that in the beginning, you asked questions, which was good. You got the audience attention right away, so it's a good starting point. And then at the end, you asked another question. And I thought you focused on the audience and used hand gestures very well. So that was good. 2 things that you could work on. There was a part in the beginning, I think you repeated why a couple times. So just watch the repeating of a couple words. I noticed some filler words, not many at all. I think I heard so and I know that from previous speeches you try to work on, and I didn't hear that many times, so bravo. And one thing that I thought that just kind of grabbed the attention was, again, just the thought on YouTube. There's so many different things on YouTube that you can watch, and it's cool that you found your own niche. And I mean, over 500 subscribers, that's pretty amazing. I don't know how long you've been doing it for, but it's pretty awesome. So good job there. And overall, I thought it was well speech for just off the cuff, like you said. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Dylan. At this point, I call for a timer's report. Ken, get our evaluator qualified on time.
Dylan, at this time, department.
Excellent. Okay. No vote for this, but we do have places where you can write comments on the ballot, so please go ahead and do that for Dylan. And for anybody prior to Dylan, if you'd like, put it into the blue cups and our vote counter will come around and collect. When you write a comment, please make sure that you put that it's a comment for somebody. Otherwise, it may be misconstrued as a vote. And it's always nice to put your name so we know who it came from. So please go ahead and do that now. So I'll give you a moment to do that. The next thing that we're going to be getting into is going to be the duty holder reports. And then I'll follow it up with my general evaluator report. So I would ask for all of the duty holders, when I call upon you, please come up here in front of the stage and give your report at that place. We're going to start off with our posture monitor, and that is Mr. Lee King. Lee, can you give your report as posture monitor?
You're the bill a few times throughout the night. Most frequently, I caught some people resting their hands up here. Also caught Dylan a couple of times with the folded fig leaf. Those are the main things that I saw. Nothing really spectacular, but those are the things that I caught most people with the bell tonight. Back to you, Mr. Melvin.
Our next duty holder is our counter, and that is also our Toastmaster Deacon. Please tell me what Mr. Mark says for this.
During Dagan's prepared speech, where we don't use the clicker, heard a couple of you-knows and a few so's. And so is different. Sometimes it's going to be used naturally, appropriately. If it's used very consistently as type of unnecessary lead-in to a sentence, then we will click it at times. John Vessels, while he was table topics master, had a few so's at the first of the sentence. And I'm so sorry I missed this on clicking, but at the very end, buddy, you said the most outrageous I've ever heard. It almost sounded like a belch. So, I was probably so blown away. I was yes. Dagan, during the table topics response, a couple of you-knows. Dylan, a couple of either in when you were in table topics, and then in your evaluation, not much, but a little bit of so, much at all. So I just said, very easy to do. You guys have made a bad impression on me. Giving me bad habits. Therefore, that wraps up my report, Mr. General Evaluator.
Our last duty holder report that we'll be having tonight is our narrative report, Mr. Mark Forward.
Okay, I'm still at least on camera. Being as tall as I am, excited to check. We're going to start off with Mark Sims. Mark Sims used some interesting words. Fecund, interlocutor. Well, of course, you got the whole sheet. We're not going to go. All good words. All very, very good words. Let's talk about the other ones that I heard. Dagan, in particular, there's always a question of whether or not it's pronounced niche or niche. I hear both, but it is certainly true if he's doing like this, he's scratching a niche. Seems appropriate given the topic somehow. I also liked him and Haw about it and due diligence. Those were good. John Vessels, show me your load. I've never heard that phrase. That's one that's beyond me. I've never heard that one before. I really like that. Liked segue. Liked go. Segue is one of those words that you look at how it's even spelled and it's like, is that really how you pronounce that? But it is. S-E-G-U. Rob, I liked cool, gnarly, bogus. And bogus reminded me of one of the ones that I will occasionally use that you never hear, bupkis. For anybody who is not familiar with the word bupkis, it means zero or nothing. So, you know, I bought the lottery ticket, but I got bupkis. Dagan, I also liked from you over yonder, really like that, and bullish. Dylan, of course, Dylan and I. And that concludes my report. on the grammarian tonight?
Thank you very much, Mark. This leads me into my report as general evaluator. This is regarding everything from the start of the meeting till now. First, we started pretty much on time, which is good. This is only our second meeting back in person. The theme I thought was interesting, made us all think, and possibly encouraged us to use some different words, some perhaps even outrageous vocabulary. So I thank you, Mr. Toastmaster, for bringing that to our attention and to our set of knowledge. Our duty holders did a great job with their descriptions at the beginning of the meeting, explaining what the roles were going to be. We even had people doing volunteering, taking on roles. Kim took on a role last minute, which was great. We took on an extra role doing double duty. Mark, of course, was doing double duty as Toastmaster and non-common as well, and Mark Schroeder as both the grammarian and our technical admin or technical advisor, monitor, probably the one. I did appreciate the printout that our Toastmaster gave for all of the words so that we could actually see them, see how they were spelled, and try to figure out how they were pronounced as well. Gave us an opportunity in spacing for us to write down the definitions as you walk through them. So I thought that was great to have that for us to actually look at. Great way to use some prop as we were able to take care of it throughout the meeting, and specifically when we were reading those words out. The introduction of our speaker, where we had our evaluator get up and express what the objectives were. I thought that there probably could have been a little bit better communication prior to the meeting in order to get our evaluator either the actual evaluation form or perhaps a little bit more communication just to get a better idea of what the project was about, and also to get some of that information to the Toastmaster. So it's something to think about in the future. I know there are technical problems occasionally, and occasionally we may forget something at home, but we need to be maybe a little bit proactive once we realize that. When David began his speech, this is just one added thing. No need to say that it's off the cuff. Perhaps your evaluator will say it, but if you hadn't said that, I would have never known that it was an off the cuff speech. It was great, very helpful. The timer, Kim, I'm not sure if I missed this, but I know when David was speaking, it felt like you showed the card and then you put it back down until the next time was up. And I may be wrong on that. Always want to hold the card up until the next timing mark, so that if somebody isn't looking at it when you hold it up, then you put it down, they may not know, they may be still waiting for the green and it's already going out for the red. So just something to keep in mind if that was what was going on. John, your table topics, very good. I thought you gave a great explanation at the beginning as to how this can benefit us and what the point of the table topics was. You also restated what the qualifying parameters were in order to win, which is always nice as a refresher, so that's good. Your actual questions about slang terms I thought was clever. Gave us an opportunity for some great humor throughout table topics. So thank you very much for that. And obviously related to the theme, outrageous vocabulary. Dylan, your evaluation, I thought you did a great job for the first time as evaluator with little information to go off of. You had a structured evaluation. You let us know how you were going to evaluate at the beginning. And you gave positive feedback for David as you went along, talking about how it was interesting. You mentioned his knowledge. You mentioned that it was great for an off-the-cuff speech. You also gave him some opportunities for improvement, mentioning his gesture, or mentioning the repeat words at the start of sentences, mentioning some of the crutch words. And then you finally finished off with positive reinforcement, which is what we always want to do with an evaluation, so that the person can walk away feeling good. So you did a fantastic job with that. Our duty holder reports, very detailed, very good, very appropriate. Only one thing that I would say, Mr. O'Connor, if you're up here giving a report, especially if you're going to say, I mean, click, maybe bring the prop up and actually do that during that report. So just one tiny little thing for that. Overall, I thought it was a fantastic meeting again for just our second meeting back in person. And I hope that we can grow and grow as we go along. At this point, I want to call for one more vote, and this is for the best of the big three. On your ballot, it does not say best of the big three. However, there are a lot of places where you can put that. You can just say Toastmaster and maybe change that to best of the big three, write it in. And the best, or the big three, who are they? It's our Toastmaster, Mr. Mark Sims, our Topic Master, Mr. John Vessels, and our General Evaluator, yours truly, Rob Giles. So whoever you thought to the best of those three, go ahead and write on your ballot, best of the big three, and write one of those names, put it into the cup. Our vote count will come around and collect those and tally the votes. Again, if you have any comments, you're welcome to put those in the cups as well. But time is running out, so please do that as soon as possible. At this point, we're going to move into our business portion of our meeting. So please help me welcome once again our Toastmaster, but this time he's playing the role as club president, Mr. Mark Sims.
Thank you, Rob. Starters, we have several guests I want to recognize. I'm very pleased, German, that you visited us, especially with you being an experienced Toastmaster. So please just give us your feedback on the meeting and how we can help.
Good evening, everyone. It is a great pleasure to meet you and to attend the Toastmasters after the pandemic. I really miss Toastmasters meeting. I've been a member of Toastmasters Club in so many states, starting from Hawaii, California, Colorado, and Chile. The last time I was with the Toastmasters Club here was with the Eagles Toastmasters Club. And, I wasn't able to attend continuously because of the job opportunity I had. But I want to be back on a regular basis and achieve some more improvements to the Toastmasters Club. As far as the meeting is concerned, I'm pretty impressed with the ability and being active learners. The way I see the members, they really work hard to glean on things, right? Bit by bit, grab things and be able and show as a good example to everyone that, hey, I'm a Toastmasters Club member. Here I am. I can do a lot of things. Nothing is impossible. And this is what this Toastmasters Club is all about. And I want to be joining this club in any opportunity. Okay? Thank you.
Great to hear. Thank you for coming. Definitely it's hard. And Angela, it's so nice to see you again. The first time you're able to attend in person. So just tell us, what's the difference between watching us on Zoom and being in person?
One of the things I had questioned about was what is good and what is not good gestures, especially because I think this is fine, but someone else does it or maybe you can't really or. So I'm definitely curious. I think I'll definitely be joining the club. So I wanted to chat with you guys now. And I completely forgot what question. Oh, my thoughts on the discussion. It's really bright in here. This is bright. So that's a lot of yeah, that's right. I think I'm on stage talking with that bright light.
It's only interrogation.
Yeah, right. That's perfect practice. So I look forward to doing more. And hopefully, I don't know if I'll be a regular person just because of family and job and things like that. But I hope to as often as I can. And how early do y'all want to get here? Because I thought I was on time to that.
We start at 6:45. I, for example, get off work and just go straight there.
Yeah.
So a lot of times I'm here at 6 or just a little bit after.
If you're gonna order something, like food or a drink, you generally try to say like 6:15, maybe 6:30. But as long as you make it here before 6:45.
Or really, I'm later for
We start at 6:45.
Don't listen.
One other thing, we try turn the AC down, but in the heat of the summer, and the air conditioning kicks on, I'll probably make project well now. You sound like I'm not even talking, what's the air conditioning? So we have to yell. It's great to see you. So excited to be here. And we definitely want to welcome and appreciate Mary Gomez visiting tonight. Mary, I've never seen her in person. Just only on Zoom. Mary, would you like to come up here and talk to us?
Yes, sure. Karen, sorry that you are, that I don't see you here in person today.
So I'm going to get 3 awards for being a great human being.
By the way, this is my first time at Toastmasters meeting since we started the pandemic. So I was so excited to come over here, and I appreciate all the work that you guys do. By the way, I was so impressed with this location. How did you guys have this space? Wow, this is like you know how to party.
We're low on the totem pole. So we get kicked out every once in a while.
I wish that was not so far from my house. I really like, I was driving and it was like keep going and 15 minutes, 20 minutes later, it's in traffic. It's like, oh my goodness, this is kind of far. But I'm very excited about being here with you all today. When I met you online, I knew that you were a very strong team, a very strong group. Rob, I have been working with you, that has been awesome. And you have done my work very easy as a club and as area director. So I wanted to take advantage that I was coming here and give you some awards. So the first one that I want to present to you all is the ribbon that you can add to your banner there. This is for the 100% officer training in 2020. So congratulations. Actually, money maybe is today. These are the names for all the officers. I realized I have an eye surgery like 3 years ago, and I never for no LASIK surgery. And I realized now I can see less and less. So I cannot really do this, and my glasses don't work very well. So these are for every officer. So you can call me to the officers. So that's really nice. I never got that when I was officer. How much I paid for it. So that's really
I never had either.
oh, so wow.
Awesome.
Okay, so the next thing that I want to present to you is the awards. So as I said, you guys are very strong. So you were the area, you had the 2 winners for the area 33 contest. This is for the evaluation contest first place. So Lee, come over here. And I didn't have the ones for the spring contest 2021, and I understand that are coming later when they deliver that. I think that they're yet. So the next one, Karen. So Achievers, our area 33 humorous speech first place. I should be looking at here.
Hi, thank you. Thank you.
I tried to coordinate with her, and I was at that moment kind of a little homeless. That was a renovation in my house. But when I was trying to coordinate, she was going to be with me, and I realized I didn't have the award with me. But now we will have to coordinate again. But I was going to give it to you so you can give it to her. Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you, Mary. That would have weirded us all out if you would have taken it to Karen and she would have taken it.
Oh, I don't have those.
And we actually have another award that Rob made you aware of. And this is for Lee King, apparently early on in the process, attaining a path in the Pathways Project. So there you go. no hair. And the only other business I can think of is that I looked up again on the District 50 website to see about TLI, I still did not see it.
Yes, the Jumpstart TLI is going to be Saturday, June 26th. And I believe it only goes until, I think it's just the morning section. I don't think it goes, maybe I could be wrong, 2:50? Maybe it goes to 2:50. But it's that Saturday. It'll be posted on the D50 site soon. I'll send something else because there was an email that went out and I had received. And then there will be a following elective one on, I think it's the following Monday from, I think, 7 to 9. And both of those are Zoom. There's also going to be one again for our kickoff TLI. And I can't remember whether that was July 2nd or, I can't remember, but it's early in July. And then that'll follow up. That's on a Saturday as well. And it'll follow up on, I think, Monday through Wednesday for electives after that. And I think both of those also are Zoom. From there, I'm not sure as far as in person or not. But that's where we are right now. I will send out an email to our officers for TLI. We're paid as a club, so officers need to go for training. Any other members can go if they just have any interest to find out what officers do. And there are some other classes that you can take that can perhaps be in line with something that you're interested in, whether it's social media. Those are all Zoom. Yeah, and after that, there may be some that are in person.
And yeah, good to hear that about the TLI. And before we hear about our winners, is there any other business that anyone has to bring up?
I do want to say one thing. The member orientation that I normally do on Saturdays at 10 a.m. for the remainder of June will be moved to Sundays at 10 a.m.
No other business? We can hear from our fellow counter. We can about our winners.
Right. The advantage to being in person is you actually get these ribbons. And we get enough of them, we can go out and play football. Without any further ado, our speaker for this evening will be Dagan Newland. Dagan. Oh, if you have cats, they like to play with these. Nice. Our table topics for this evening actually goes to myself. We're color coordinated. Much better than that. Best evaluator for this evening is Dylan. Dylan. Best of victory for this evening is our Toastmaster John.
He's a Toastmaster. Topic master.
Table topics master John.
Everyone have a great weekend.
Hi, Karen.
Hi,
Have a good
Yep,
night.
how's it going, Karen?
it's good.